everyone, TK7 here. You may recall in my last review I did, I said I was going to do a review on Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Hey, it's a lot better than...
What are we gonna do with this shrimp taco?
Just bump a cap in his ass, throw him in the truck, and then nobody gonna know nothing.
I'll get you next time, Revenge of the Fallen. Next time. However, I've decided to put that review on hold for now for various reasons. One, because I'm currently trying to finish the next round of Heroes with Villains for those who watch that series. Two, because I'm working on a big project that I want to get out before a certain movie is released this month. And three, and more importantly, I've decided to once again take on the next guest show request. So yeah, as you can all tell, I've got quite the load this month. Enough of that spiel, let's go on to the actual focus of this video. And it all comes down to two words. Video Brinquedo. For the one or two people out there who haven't heard of this company, Brinquedo is a Brazilian company that specializes in cheap rip-offs of films by Disney or DreamWorks. And I'm not talking about the generic Disney knockoffs like Quest for Camelot, The King and I, or Trumpet of the Swan. These people create films that are released around the exact same time as the films they're ripping off that has a premise that are lawsuit levels of similarities. These films include Gladiformers, The Frog Prince, What's Up, Tiny Bee, Tiny Robots, Little Cars, and The Little Panda Fighter. And today we're going to be taking a look at what many consider to be the worst of all these films. That being Ratatoing. As you can clearly tell by the cover and the forced-in title, this is meant to be a direct rip-off of Pixar's Ratatouille. Well, I wouldn't say direct per se. The plot, and I use that term very loosely, is somewhat different from that of the Pixar film. The film sets place in Rio de Janeiro instead of Paris, and our main rat character, named Marcel Toyne, hence the awkward title, is already a chef working at a restaurant, while Remy in the original film has to go through some obstacles in order to become one. However, despite these slight differences, the film still was released at the same time as Ratatouille, stars a rat who has somewhat of a similarity to Remy, is obsessed with cooking and food, and is directly ripping off the title of the movie. So it's still a shameless ripoff / mockbuster of an already established film. What's that? What makes you think this company's shameless? Well, if you go on places like IMDb, there is plenty of evidence that shows just how little of a crap this company gives when producing and marketing these cheap knockoffs. If you look up The Little Panda Fighter, the description states that Video Brinquedo brings us a cheap ripoff of Kung Fu Panda. Want more evidence? Look up another one of their films, Tiny Robots, a ripoff of WALL-E and maybe a little bit of Blue Sky Studios' Robots. Here, IMDb, the online database that gives us information of movies and TV shows, publicly describes this film, and I quote, "This is a movie about a dumb thing." Words fail me right now. So this company is so unashamed about what they made that they don't care that some public movie information website describes it as garbage. But enough about me ranting on how bad the company is. Just how bad are their movies? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. This is Ratatoing.
The marvelous city, land of sun and heat, with one of the most beautiful urban skylines in the world.
Well, hello there, Mike Pollock. I didn't expect to see you being used in this film. No, I am not joking. That's Mike Pollock, who most of y'all know for as the narrator of Pokemon and Dr. Robotnik. So we enter the restaurant where... What the heck are those? Joseph, get over there and eat them! Are those supposed to be rats? They're hideous looking. So these things discuss how delicious the food is.
I must say, that smells delicious.
Did you have any doubts, sir?
There's no doubt about that here. Their food is always guaranteed to be delicious.
It's divine, don't you agree, Oscar?
Yes, Maria Liche, just divine.
You would expect to find fine dining places like this in cities like Paris or Madrid.
Hey, their food at least looks delicious, unlike whatever the heck you guys are consuming.
But this definitely is Gorgonzola, sir. It is not Camembert.
Oh, you're right. I somehow confused them. I'm so terribly sorry.
Darling, that looks positively disgusting.
Hey, the movie's actually making jokes for me.
And remember, my Oscar has a very knowledgeable palate.
But if I'm not mistaken, he actually mixed different sauces.
Well, he didn't exactly mix them.
Ladies, do you have to be so critical?
Oh my gosh, is it still going?
Please tell me, young man, what is the secret of the great flavor in every one of the dishes you prepare?
All right, I'll tell you.
Oh, now's our chance. Now is our chance.
He's actually going to say it.
Quick, grab your notebook and write down every single word.
The actual secret ingredient that can be found in all of the food prepared here is lots of...
Come on, out with it.
Lots and lots and lots of...
With lots of?
With lots and lots and lots of...
By those clips alone, you may have noticed, well, every single problem with the film! First, let's start with the obvious problem you may have noticed, the animation. It is on par with Food Fight and Elf Bowling as having some of the worst animation that I have ever seen in an animated film. It is so bad that it makes the original VeggieTales episodes look like Pixar in terms of quality. But at least VeggieTales had an excuse. It was first released back in 1993, back when CGI animation was still new and technology wasn't as advanced. Also, Big Idea didn't have a big enough budget and had to work with what they got, and to their credit, the animation has improved over the years. This movie was released in 2007, the same year that animated films like Ratatouille, Meet the Robinsons, and B-Movie were released. There is no excuse to have the animation to be this awful. Secondly, the voice acting. It too is pretty bad. I mean, some of them sound passable, but others just sound so grating. And to add insult to injury, most of the cast they got for these characters were once actors for various 4Kids cartoons and anime. For example, this rat is voiced by Veronica Taylor, who also voiced April O'Neil from the 2003's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This rat is voiced by Scott Raywow, who also voiced the Shredder, also from the 2003's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And finally, there's Dan Green, who is best known for his roles as Yugi Moto from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Knuckles from Sonic X. Do you know what else he did? He did additional voices in Grave of the Fireflies. How do you go from voicing in one of the most powerful war movies of all time to this heaping pile of DreamWorks diarrhea? And I'm not blaming the actors or anything. I'm sure they needed the money, but was it really worth it at the end? I mean, 4Kids was bad, but it was never this levels of ludicrous. Third, what's with their eyes? They're so cold and lifeless that they make Jack Skellington's face look more expressionate. And he's a skeleton! Fourth, their lips don't sync up with what they are saying. I know this was made by a Brazilian company, but I've watched other foreign animated films and TV shows that had better English dubbing than this. And say what you want with most Japanese anime, at least companies like Funimation try their best to make English dialogue sync up with the character's lip movement. Here, there was no attempt at all. Fifth, and finally, we have to wait 12 minutes until the actual plot begins. Now, I'm aware of a lot of movies and TV shows don't start their plots until later in the story, but this film is forgetting one important thing. Establishment of characters. Take a film like Aladdin, for example. The overall plot doesn't really start until 35 minutes into the film. Until then, the movie focuses on establishing the main characters, their personalities, and their motivations. What do we know about Aladdin? He's a mischievous and daring thief, but also someone who is selfless, generous, and protective that just wants to change his life around and become more than just a street rat. What do we know about Jasmine? She's someone who is feisty, rebellious, and never afraid to speak her mind, but also kind, caring, and very fun-loving, who just wants to live a life where she's free to make her own decisions. Given all this information is what makes these two multi-layered characters. Characters that we, as the audience, can relate to. The same thing can be said about some television shows, where they tend to not start their plots until the first several episodes have passed. Give enough time to establish the characters so we can get to know them more. That way, when the major plot finally begins, we would be invested in the story more and look forward to seeing these characters going on grand adventures or fight evil, and even learning more about them during their journey. Ratatoing doesn't do any of this. During the first 12 minutes, we don't know anything about these characters because it doesn't bother to establish anything about them. All we get from this portion of the film is that Marcel is a cook, the food is great, and these critics keep pestering him about why the food is so good. And by the way, this movie is only 41 minutes long, and about half of it is filler. How do you have filler in something that doesn't even crack an hour? So yeah, it turns out that these four rats are having trouble with their own restaurant since everyone is going to Ratatoing instead. Their solution? Shut down Ratatoing so that everyone else will have no choice but to go to their restaurant. Why don't they just send in some spies to find the secrets of their cooking so that they can replicate the food? Meanwhile, our main heroes are getting ready for their big night to gather more food. And this, of course, leads to a montage. A very, very, very long montage, which consists of them putting their shoes on, fancy spy gear, the fat one pulling cheese out of his crotch. Wait, what?
The stuff they're getting away with on kids shows these days.
And this montage just keeps going on and on and on and on. You know, guys, whenever you do a montage, they're supposed to be quick and fast-paced, not drag on for over a minute and a half.
I suggest we stop going there for a little while and carefully reconsider what our options might be.
That's a fine idea. I don't want to come back here.
We've got to go right back.
Tell me, why are you so anxious to go back there?
I have a small confession to make. You see, I somehow left our notebook on the table containing all our notes.
I don't believe it. If Marcel sees that notebook, we'll be exposed as restaurant spies.
Wow, you are some of the most pathetic excuses for villains. So that female rat goes back to the restaurant to get her notebook.
Hello? Is there anybody here? I forgot something.
Yeah, just yell out loud that you are here. Seriously, haven't Marcel thought about locking up the place so that no one can come back in? So Marcel and the gang have arrived to a human kitchen to get some ingredients for their food. You know, gang, you might want to be careful where you end up. You could end up in the exact same kitchen from Sausage Party. So Marcel grabs a strawberry and then...
What have you done, you clumsy idiot?
Huh? It wasn't me! It wasn't me!
Oh boy, I wonder how they're going to extend this scene.
Hold on, Marcel! I'll grab you!
Turn this crazy thing on!
Greg, how did you turn that thing on?
I think I pushed the switch!
What switch?
What do you mean, what switch? Didn't you see him push the button right over there?
You push the button behind you!
Did you say pull?
No! Not pull the button! Push the button!
Are you saying button?
Yes, button! I mean switch!
Did you say button or switch?
The button is a switch!
What switch?
Get on with it! So after that dragged out scene, they bring the strawberry back to their kitchen.
Well, guys, what really matters is that we were able to bring back an excellent strawberry.
Precisely!
And though we had some trouble getting it, we'll be able to make a week's worth of excellent dishes with this little beauty.
What, do you plan to split one strawberry within a whole crowd of rats or something?
Let me see now. I think I had to go to the store. But which store? No, that's not it, because there's no store open today. I think I had to, move the tables and clean the floor. That's it. But I've already cleaned the floor. No, that can't be it. Oh, I forget. But whatever it was I was supposed to do, I'll just do it later. It'll be fine.
That was the most pointless scene in the history of pointless scenes.
You should check out their equipment. It reminds me of a Rat Bond movie.
Oh, now I get it. Marcel Toing isn't just a great chef. He's also a super secret agent who goes on missions impossible. I doubt it.
Hey, not to steal a quote from Mr. Enner, but, just simply referencing movies does not automatically make it funny. So the four have devised a plan on how to ruin Ratatoing's business. And what is their plan exactly? You know, I'm gonna try something. That looks weird. And yet, their little dance number actually works.
I can't wait to see how crazy they get after they discover the incredible mess we made. We're so bad.
I think that's the tagline for this film. Ratatoing, we are so bad. So Marcel and the gang go out again after another totally pointless montage, where they find the kitchen is littered with traps, and yet only seem to notice the cheese.
Ah, It's incredible! There's so much fresh food here tonight! But look at how it's all spread out!
Oh, don't trust anything, Marcel. They might be traps.
Did I mention how every single character in this movie is a complete moron? So Marcel stumbles upon a bar of chocolate, where he then gets chased by the crossbreed of Garfield and Max from the Penguins of Madagascar? Marcel manages to escape the beast, but unfortunately loses the chocolate. As time goes on, Marcel is starting to lose some of his customers. But despite the danger of the kitchen, he still is determined to save his restaurant. So, for Pete's sake! They head back to the kitchen, where two of the other rats follow. Marcel and the gang find some cheese to take back, but then the cat arrives. That is one small cat, but not nearly as cute as this. So as Marcel distracts the cat, Carol and Greg get cornered by those two older rats. And just when you thought they couldn't possibly get any more stupid...
Give us everything you have in your bags and make it quick.
And we do mean everything you've got.
But why? Don't you think there's enough cheese here for all of us? Go get your own, but watch out for the traps.
You're absolutely right, and it's all delicious. So I think we should just go up on that table and grab our own piece of cheese.
Why do we need to bother with the small pieces they have in their bags when there's so much on the table for us to take?
You go first. I'll wait for you here.
That would be perfect for you, right?
Wow. Dr. Doofenshmirtz, Abba Small, Lord Hater, and the Dark Lord Chuckles and Silly Piggy are all geniuses compared to these idiots. At least those idiots are stupid in a fun way, not stupid in a stupid way.
You're all tied up, and I'm stepping into a giant copy machine to make duplicates of myself. Who's crazy now?
But before they can grab the cheese, Marcel arrives with the cat. He apparently somehow tamed the feline. So business is good again for Ratatoing, and even the cat is a regular customer now. But what happened to those two older rats?
I heard those rats of ours were sent to an out-of-town laboratory.
Well, that's harsh. Seriously? All these rats wanted was to help their own business and only wanted to shut down Marcel's because they were really desperate. Why didn't Marcel just hire them to work with him since the restaurant was shutting down? He could seriously use some extra help waiting customers, but instead he just sends them to Nim, apparently. Some hero you turn out to be Marcel. Apparently he's been taking advice from Cool Cat Saves the Kids. And so the film finally comes to an end.
Downtown, my friends.
Precisely. Precisely.
And so that was Ratatoing, and honestly, I think I'd rather watch stock footage of Mosa eating her dinner. I get way more satisfaction there than watching this film. The animation is hideous, the character designs are lazy, the voice acting and syncing is forced, the pacing is either too slow or too fast, and the fact these people thought they could get away with making a film that's just riding on the coattails of Ratatouille is just mind-boggling. Fortunately, Video Brinquedo has been shut down due to plagiarism, and thank goodness for that. But even with their company gone, their cheaply made rip-offs still remain quite well known as being the most pathetic excuses for animation entertainment. Even to the point where they made the world of Gumball did an episode that parodied Brinquedo films.
And that DVD is not even the real film. It's some mockbuster from the bargain bin.
What's wrong with how to ratatouille your panda?
But the reason that I personally despise these films is the same reason why I hate the Alpha and Omega sequels. Both of these films represent a certain kind of animated film that I hate the most. The kind that are cheaply made with no effort and no care and were somehow made by people who were supposedly professionals and got paid to do it. There are people on the internet who make animation videos for a hobby, and they put in way more time and effort into the animation and even stories and character development. And they only do it for free.
I have friends all over the place. But you're the only best friend I got.
Look, I understand that animation is hard, but it's the hard work that's put into these films and shows is what we appreciate. Because of a lot of dedication, care, time, and passion, we get masterpieces like Beating the Beast, Waltz of Bashir, and Song of the Sea. When it's done with very little care and only done for a quick buck, we get garbage like Norm of the North, the A&O sequels, and the Video Brinquedo films. Really, the only point I can think of for these cheap ripoffs to exist is so the company can scam parents and grandparents out of their money so that they end up buying their children and grandchildren these low-budget films instead of the actual things. Why? Because they are cheaper, that's why. I understand that movies these days can be quite costly, but answer this simple little question, all you parents who are watching this. Which is worse? Spending $20 on a movie that has a lot of effort put into it and can teach both children and adults certain life lessons that we can take from it? Or spend $5 on a cheaply made film that treats your audience like you are a complete moron? My advice? Show your kids Kung Fu Panda, not the little panda fighter. Show them Up, not What's Up. Show them Ratatouille, not Ratatoing. It will be all worth it in the end. If you all excuse me, I'm off to work on a big project that I want to get out the day before a certain film is released this month. This is CT7, signing out. See you all next time.
They're coming creeping from the corner, and all I know is that I don't feel safe. I feel the tapping on my shoulder. I turn around in an alarming state. What am I losing my mind? I really think so. Not a creature inside. What you don't know is that my breathing gets faster, and so does my heartbeat. I wish this was over. I wish that this was a dream, but I created a monster. I held within my head, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, oh, I'm so scared. I created a monster. A beast inside my brain, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, my mind impaired. Awake me from my nightmare. I created a monster. A hell within my head, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, oh, I'm so scared. I created a monster. A hell within my head, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, oh, I'm so scared. No, no, I created a monster. A beast inside my brain, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, my mind impaired. Awake me from my nightmare. 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 Awake me from my nightmare.
Animation is so hard! People who do this for a living deserve more credit and respect!